We just call the meeting to order.
These chairs are,
Well, that's why I have this one.
He's no dummy, he knows. All right.
so I suggest, because last time I wasn't ready to approve the minutes, and hopefully everybody's had a chance to read them after I read them, or before I read them, that we can approve the minutes for the last two meetings. If
Yep.
folks are ready for that,
I've read them, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
you do.
right?
Yeah,
All in favor?
aye.
Excellent, thank you.
I'm still unclear from my voting member.
Of course you are.
And yeah, Terry says yes. Gotta ask them all.
You get two votes. You get a vote here, and then you get a vote on Thursday night.
We had the meeting last night.
Yeah, normally Thursday.
Yes.
Did folks have a chance to read the information that Frank forwarded out for Chief Mercier about consolidation and all that?
Yes.
Okay. I suggest we take that up last if we get to it, just because the first thing you were talking about was a 24-hour coverage. And something that occurred to me is, I think we could potentially get bogged down in the minutia of it if we dig too deep into it, rather than letting Frank and Terry and the town staff figure out how to calculate all that stuff, rather than us get into the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah.
So what I did was,
It seems as simple as doubling daytime coverage.
Am I sending it to the wrong one?
I think so, because I didn't get it.
I
I'm sorry.
typed up
Oh, no
a
problem.
draft. That's all it is a draft, and I am not gonna be personally offended the second we start changing it
Good.
for a recommendation.
You like a draft, though, this is a nice.
Yeah, it gives us a place to start the conversation, so we can actually come to some sort of,
Did you have a copy of this, Frank?
I printed off enough, there should be enough for Frank and for Christie if she was here, and for Nelson and for Jonathan, so there should be a bunch of copies. So, I put these in a numbered fashion, so if we need to add to it, or we cannot agree on one of them, it's easy as saying, we're not going to, as a committee, vote to approve number 4, or however we wanna handle that.
Okay.
But I'm putting it out there for a conversation. I have a couple others that I didn't write down yet, but I thought this would be a starting place anyways. For instance, one of the things I was gonna say is, most departments now, if you hire somebody that's been a paid firefighter somewhere else, then when you hire them, you put them at the step that gives them the pay and benefits that they would've had considering the years of service as a paid firefighter. And I think that's something that Harpswell should offer if we go that route. Most of the other towns are doing it now. City of Portland's doing it, I think, Bath's doing it, I think most of them are doing it in order to stay competitive, so.
So most of these people will hire will be part of Main State Retirement then, right? Is now what article?
So that would be under number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah,
I jumped ahead. but
yeah,
just-
so, they don't have to be part of the pension, but I think the town needs to offer it.
Yeah.
The option to that being obviously if there's a 401K, right? Portland does the same thing. Most everybody's in the pension, but we have a few folks that came in later in life or for whatever reason chose to go 401K instead of the pension plan.
Yeah.
There's no reason they shouldn't have that, but if we've got some folks that have worked for another department, say for 20 years, and they're interested in coming here, but they can't come here because they're gonna give up 20 years towards a 25-year pension, I think that would be,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah. We have one person works here that's Main State Retirement.
so.
I don't remember how that happened, but it happened.
What's that, Kevin?
There's one person who works here that's Main State Retirement. Everybody else is Social Security.
Okay.
That, they were an employee before the town meeting voted to get out of the pension plan, so they were vested.
So
What-
when did that happen? It must have been before my
Oh,
time.
my
huh?
word, that
Yeah.
was-
Oh, 25, 26 years ago, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah, it's been
thank
quite a
you.
while.
Thank you.
I
When I,
remember the conversation
I'm guessing.
coming up at the meeting, and there's a lot of us thought that was crazy when it happened, but it went
Okay.
through anyways.
All right.
when I talked to Ken Brilliant, research and information for Frank, that was an issue that came up in the conversation. And he indicated that Bangor, the city of Bangor left Main State Retirement for a period of time. And he thought they went to ICMA, but he wasn't entirely sure. But what that resulted in was the exodus of their career firefighters. They left Bangor to go to a community that had Main State retirement.
So they did it for current employees as well?
I didn't ask that question.
Okay.
He was just pointing out to me that they left the system.
Yeah,
The people, perhaps it was new.
yeah,
They came on,
yeah. And then they got a place where they could get a pension.
said they had to work to 62
Yeah,
because of the retirement system, which they didn't want to do. They're working, anytime you get disparity between retirement systems in an organization, it creates a rift. I went through it at the state level, and it creates a rift between the employees.
yeah,
So they found in the end, after the exodus of the young people, said, well, you know, the veteran over here, he goes home 20 years and gets a paycheck. I'm gonna be here till 62. Well, I'm not staying here. I'm gonna go, the market's competitive, and I'm gonna move to a community that has, you know, Main State retirement.
Yeah.
So they saw that shift in their personnel recruitment. So they went back, they abandoned the ICMA plan, and they went back to Main State retirement for the same reasons that you described. So it's something, it's not just a theory or could happen, it has happened already in one of the largest cities in Maine. And it clearly is an issue that comes up every time you have that conversation.
and I remember when the town got out of the pension system, there was a concern that the pension systems weren't that strong, but the Maine state pension system is one of the strongest, well, best funded pension systems in the country, so that's not really a concern.
Yeah.
So, but we have to be competitive if we're gonna take a real shot at this.
So it would be both, it'd be the pension plus the 457? Like
Well, so 457 is optional, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in the pension system with Portland.
Yeah.
I also have my 457 that augments it.
Right,
I mean, so one or the other, or the option is, right, just because you have the pension doesn't mean if you get somebody that comes in that's 50 years old and they don't think they're gonna work a 25-year
Right,
career,
right.
then they may go 401K, because with a
Right.
401K, I believe you can retire at 59 and a half if you're in the right 401K plan. I think the point is, most people are gonna go for the pension, so we don't wanna cut ourselves off at the knee, but at
No.
the same time, we don't wanna take the choice away and say, no, we understand you can't do 25, but this is the only option you got, you have to go pension,
Right.
so,
yeah, because currently at the town, they have a 457 currently.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, have folks had a chance to read this? I mean, we've had a fair amount of conversation, I haven't seen too much reading on it. Do we wanna discuss these in individual terms, or do we
Yeah.
want to?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I know that, that Frank had the information from Bath, and I think you were working on getting, David, you were working on getting one from Brunswick. Did we get any others besides Bath? Did you ever get Topsom in?
Topsom had some
Okay,
information,
okay. Did you share that? Because I must have missed that one.
yeah. Yeah, he sent it out.
Okay.
It was last week, I think he
Okay.
sent it out.
So I didn't read it, so are they competitive, or what are we looking at? Are they similar, or?
Well, I can tell you, having looked at them real briefly, Harpswell's benefits are not competitive with any of the three of them,
Okay,
for firefighter pay at least. I believe it was, I can't remember if it was Brunswick or Bath. One of them has 288 hours of vacation time for senior firefighters a year. That's over 7 weeks of vacation a year, which blew my mind away.
which is,
But-
what is senior, like over 10 years, or what is?
So in this case, I think it was
constitute
19 years or more, and we don't have anybody with 19 years or more, but if we do this and we have somebody come across has seniority somewhere else,
Yeah.
we wanna make sure that we can match that.
Well, that's where it's gonna get tricky,
Yeah.
Yes,
because, you know, we've got the vacation plan here in the townhouse, all town employees fall under that, and these firefighters are gonna be town employees, so how do we do this?
yeah,
It's not 7 weeks, by the way.
288 hours, whatever that turns out to with a 42-hour work week.
a lot.
Yeah. When you go to work.
No, I was blown away by the number of hours, but I'm not sure if that's because they added them in for earned paid leave is part of that or not, but,
Yeah, but that's assuming they put in their time with that particular department. I can't remember which one it was. If it was
Yeah.
Brunswick or Thompson, but, you know, I don't
it
see
was
how we
either, it was
could.
either Brunswick or Bath, it wasn't Thompson.
It wasn't Tom, okay, I can't remember, but, I mean, how are we expected to match that?
Well, and I'm
for a couple of
not, I'm not
different
suggesting we match the highest benefit package,
No,
but what I would suggest is, we shouldn't come in underneath the lowest of the three, because then we clearly aren't competitive,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Somewhere in the middle, probably, or lower bottom to the middle, probably.
So, and they have different scales as well, each one of them have different scales, and that's why I said, I stepped back for a minute, and by reading them, it was an eye-opener for me, because I'm used to reading what my benefits are with the city of Portland, and I was kind of surprised to see the differences, but there's enough variation in the way they break up the steps and all that stuff, that they're their own unique animals, and if we were to try to figure that out as a committee,
Okay.
I think it would be a mess. I think probably it would make more sense for us to recommend that we need to be competitive, which means we shouldn't be below the lowest of the three, and we probably shouldn't be the highest of the three, and let the town
Yeah,
figure out what that looks like, so that the town can be effective in hiring and retaining.
But you gotta look at the call volume though, compare, you know, you come here, sleep a month straight, probably never get a call at night.
that's true.
Compared to a city, Brunswick or Bath,
I agree, you know, who are we gonna attract for applicants to this department?
they know they're not gonna come here and work their butts off from 6 at night to 6 in the morning.
At least not initially.
Well, I think there's gonna be more fires.
Well, I'm not necessarily thinking fires.
Oh.
I'm talking down the road.
Oh,
I'm talking
yeah.
a long time down the road.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm just saying that this fire and rescue in the town of Harpswell is an evolving creature. And it, you know, over the next 10 to 20 years, we're gonna see things change, just like we're seeing things change now, so.
Just for, it's the city of Bath, and it's after 24 years, it's 288 hours.
Yeah, it was way up there, that's what I was saying, it was
After
senior,
20 years, it was 240.
yeah. So, any concerns with number one on the list?
I apologize for being late. What was the source of this document?
I typed it up for a conversation piece to start.
Okay.
Working on a recommendation.
That's fine.
Who bit your hand?
Huh?
Who bit your hand?
His name is Tucker. He's a Great Pyrenees, weighs about 130 pounds,
Yeah,
and he won.
He looks like a polar bear.
yeah.
He's about the same size as a polar bear, too.
No, he's not.
So Ben, when we asked, when the first one here, the expansion, when we talk about expansion, are we talking 5 days a week, 2 days a week,
So-
7 days a week?
So the first line,
Yeah,
right, so this is in addition to the first line, that we recommend the town begin planning and extend firefighter coverage to 24/7, 365.
Okay.
Okay? And so number one is, they should plan on doing it no later than the March meeting,
yeah,
or asking that it be approved no later than the March meeting,
yeah,
right? So that's one thing.
yeah,
The second is, that we talked about the last meeting, whether or not we're gonna try to do this with full-timers or not, and so I thought the sweet spot was full-timers and augment the regular staff with per diems, and then that gives the town flexibility to adjust as they need to going forward.
right,
The third thing is around benefits, and rather than us try to figure out the benefits package for the town, it just shapes what we think benefits look like, and then the town runs their own calculations and figures out how to make that work rather than us do it.
okay,
And then 4 I put in there because there's still a great deal of conversation about when these firefighters would actually start. Whether we're gonna wait until the new building is built or try to put them on duty before the new building is built, considering the challenges that we're all facing. But Oars Island is facing. But we've all faced it at one time or another.
Of course, yeah. Mhm. So the central station, from my knowledge, is, we're gonna be breaking ground sometime in spring next year, is that correct?
That's
Is
the
that,
plan.
That's the plan.
okay, and then how long do they anticipate it's gonna take, from the time we break down to have a finished building? Do we know the answer to that?
Late fall at the
8 to
earliest.
9 months.
Okay, all right,
Should be completed by
Yeah.
the end of 27.
okay.
We're gonna hear this afternoon that we're moving across the stream for a possible building site.
Across
Oh,
the
my
street.
word.
What street,
I'm
really?
gonna pick one side of the street and stick with it.
Well, there's room for expansion on the other side.
Okay, well.
Which street are you talking about
Mountain
crossing?
Road?
Stream or street, did you say?
Stream.
Mountain Road?
Stream.
Oh,
okay.
stream,
Oh, I
okay,
thought
all
you
right.
said street,
Yeah.
I'm like,
I thought you
oh,
said
no.
I
street.
thought he said.
I
street,
swear
too.
you said street.
I was visualizing a trickle stream while I said it.
I was trying to cope with that idea.
Yeah, the
How's
stream
the
where there's no
bed kinda
vertical
narrow,
at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well, we
runoff
need
that's
to
there,
knock the
only when it
recycling
rains.
building down so we can put the fire
We're
station
gonna
there.
hear
no
that
problem.
at 3 o'clock,
Okay.
Randy.
All right,
Okay.
I think they've already had a surveyor look at it, so,
okay. So,
just a possibility.
So approximately 18 months from now, approximately.
by the end
A
of
little
next
bit.
year, yes.
Year and a
That's-
half.
That's what we're shooting for.
Now, historically, when we started the service with the per diem firefighters, how long did it take to hire them? I mean, to have a full crew, it took a couple of years, I
Well,
seem to
so
remember.
after Art was hired, I think it took probably 2 months to actually start seeing a calendar start to get somewhere near
Yeah.
populated. And then it took 2 years before it was fully populated. Actually, it took longer than that before we got to the point where we didn't hear, well, we met 85% of our
Yeah,
goal,
I
when the
remember
goal was
that.
minimum manning.
Right,
So we were 2 or 3 years trying to straighten out why are people coming here and then leaving, coming here and then leaving, costing the town money for new PPE and training and all of that stuff, and be gone in 6 months because
right.
the town wasn't competitive. They'd go to work somewhere else. Go ahead.
This might take me a little bit to sort of wind my way through this. We're trying to be competitive with the surrounding departments.
Mhm.
Those surrounding departments, they're not just firefighters, they're EMTs, they're advanced EMTs, they're paramedics. What is going to be expected of the firefighters here in town? Are they going to also be paramedics or EMTs, AMTs?
That was a conversation we had probably 2 meetings ago, when I put it on the table that I didn't think we should hire any new employees that weren't EMTs.
I understand that, and I was there for that meeting, but
Yeah.
But
we're paying to be competitive, but I guess,
We're not competing for the same thing.
Well, that's where I guess you
That's a-
reduce the salary commensurate, you know, you have different levels. If you're an EMT, maybe, you know, maybe we're not recruiting for paramedics and advanced EMTs, maybe we're doing EMTs. And then you adjust the scale, based on that.
are we
But-
gonna pay them?
But if you're trying to compete with Brunswick Pay, you're competing with Brunswick Pay is, you know,
The
both
scale
ways.
for Brunswick, Topsom,
Yeah,
Bath,
everywhere.
they're paying firefighter EMTs, firefighter advanced.
That's good, we
firefighter-
No, no,
It's
but the entry level is, I mean, as far as I know, you can correct me if I want, Brunswick will hire you
At
as an EMT,
Correct.
and they say to you, you have 2 years to get to be paramedic. That's what I understand.
2 years to be an advanced, I believe.
Okay, well, you
That's what it
can't
was when I
stay,
went in.
you can't stay in the
Right.
EMT pay scale in Brunswick and Thompson.
Yeah.
I don't know about other places.
But I
That's
guess,
my understanding. They have to achieve their advanced EMT within that timeframe. Not, encourage them to go on to paramedic,
Yeah.
but it's not a requirement.
But I'm not pushing that. I'm simply saying, to get hired, you should have your EMT license as a new employee. That's what I'm saying.
but they're not expected to provide that service.
That doesn't seem,
well, maybe going down the road, right now, because of our per diem program, it was a big argument at the time, remember, that
Yeah.
they don't answer any EMS calls unless second tone, whatever hell it turned into, but
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm thinking is
if
if
that's
we're
changing.
gonna hire them and we're gonna be paying them to be competitive with other departments, but we're not realizing the full benefit that we could get from them, why would they not be providing the service? And I'm-
So I would say that we're not being competitive for firefighter paramedics unless they come to us as firefighter paramedics. That, right? I mean, the competitive is, you're coming to us as a firefighter EMT, we're gonna pay you to be a firefighter, you know, pay you commensurate with your qualifications. So I'll give you, for instance, correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, but anybody that has a degree that is a firefighter for the town of Hartswell gets a per diem, or gets a stipend, or what, so many cents an hour for having their associate's degree, or having their bachelor's degree. They already have that, has nothing to do with their job. They already have that for something that's completely disconnected from their role. So having, you know, incentive, if you have your EMT, you're gonna, which they already have that as well. They already have a pay bump for having their EMT or their advanced, their paramedic. So we're not talking about a change there, but we're not telling anybody when they come in, at least not now, we're not telling anybody, you gotta come in and you gotta be advanced in 2 years, or a paramedic in 5
Sure,
years.
no, I
whatever it is.
understand that. I'm just trying to wrap my head around, being competitive with the other departments around here. But it's a bit apples and oranges, because if they're not going to be providing EMS coverage, we're still essentially,
We
Perhaps
do
maybe-
also have a pay scale just for firefighters as well. Firefighters with
Right.
firefighter
Sure.
service.
I mean, I understand why the chief wants to layer on, you gotta be one. And there's some meaning to it. But the fact is, when you get down to pay, you just gotta pay for the job that you're trying to hire for, and pay enough that you're successfully hiring.
sure.
Everything else, I mean, it's just it's gravy somewhere in the scheme, but it's not part of the essence of what we're trying to accomplish.
Right.
So we need to pay these people enough that we can hire the coverage that we need for the period what we're talking about, right? So I don't see why we're not being competitive at a raw pay scale for someone who's hiring someone who has to be an advanced, and say, well, you don't have to be you're not gonna use your advanced down here. You're just gonna be a firefighter. You don't have to be competitive with that salary. You need to be competitive with, I'm willing to come down here because the call volumes are low, and, you know, I can get my laundry done, and the movies are good, and whatever else you wanna dream up, because the call volumes are good, you know, or low, and, you know, it's a lot less you know, how do I say that? It's pleasant environmentally,
Yeah,
right?
That was my
And that has,
earlier, yeah.
that has a value,
it does.
right?
I think so.
And it has a value to them too.
No, I'm talking about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, basically, yeah.
So-
Per diems, we're living through it right now.
So I won't disagree with any of that, but I will say we went through this period before where we were not competitive.
Yes, we did.
Okay,
And we
well, that,
went through a number of firefighters that were here for 6 months or a year and gone.
but you're saying our failure was a failure of execution, not a failure of policy, which is you have to pay people competitively or they don't stay. That's a fact of life in any business, municipal, whatever model.
Where are we at now with this?
You have to look at what was occurring at the time, too. At the time that this was happening, the per diem model was starting to be developed and utilized in more communities, because more communities were facing the same things that we were. We were simply ahead of the curve, because Durham all of a sudden wanted per diems, Booth Bay Harbor wanted per diems, Wiscasset wanted per diems, Topsom wanted per diems. The entire market had changed.
Yeah, and
So-
now it's going where we're going now. Topsom
That-
now got full-timers.
But that's what happened to us then.
Yeah.
In the per diem recruiting, was we got caught up in staffing shortages in several communities similar to us, and we're all competing for the same smaller pool of per diem people. So they'd come to us, and then Topsom would offer them $2 an hour more, so they'd abandon us and go to Topsom. Then Booth Bay Harbor would offer them $5 more, so they go to, so it was just, mercenaries, EMT mercenaries that were.
Firefighter mercenaries.
Were moving around and getting the best deal for themselves, which is nothing wrong with that, but it makes the recruiting particularly difficult. When you're fighting for, as we understood in the beginning, and even in, it's probably true now, when you're looking at a per diem market, we know that the off-duty firefighters are a limited pool. And there's several communities competing for that limited pool. So you have to balance the pay somewhere between attracting them, but I agree with John, I mean, you can't just keep playing poker here and up in the pay, Thompson goes more, you'll go, I mean, that, you get caught up in that escalation and that goes nowhere. So at some point, you have to say, this is what we consider that the town can afford, and given those other considerations, low call volume, new station, nice environment, we use those other factors to become attractive, not just pay. Pay is a part of that attraction, but it isn't the whole thing.
The good, I mean, it's a good and bad, right, about people's compensation, and I use that in the totality of the word, not just raw pay, but the benefits and the environment, whatever. It's a self-limiting situation, right? Because the instant you're not competitive, you don't have the people, and you get told right away. So what you need in this environment, and this is part of, it's embedded in here a little bit, but is, the town of Harpswell is not known for, benefits, changes on a quick and rapid turnaround, right? So you need to do the pre-work so that you have enough understanding of what's required, that when you need to put together a package that's competitive with the environment so you can get the people, that you know how to do it. That doesn't mean necessarily you have to do it, because you're gonna find out right away how much you gotta do based on how much recruiting success and retention success you have. But you need to be able to change it in some meaningfully quick way. Like we discussed the fight about the per diems, that should have taken an afternoon.
He said it took well over a year.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So, if you can't hire people, you gotta fix it, like now.
Yeah.
And the guy who can,
And that may very well be driven by your applicants, when they come in and sit across from you.
absolutely.
They're gonna help guide you down that road, because.
Gonna know right away, because you're not gonna hire
When
them.
you say, well, I'm offering you $27 an hour, what's the pay? And they're gonna say, well, that's,
Yeah.
that's nice, but,
They got better facility over here.
yeah. So they're gonna drive the market.
Yeah, no, I
To
get it.
some
I mean,
degree.
like I said, it's self-reinforcing.
So do we need to
So-
make a recommendation on how many full-time, because currently, how many full-time employees do they have? Not two,
Two.
right? So are we gonna recommend that we need 4 and then fill in with per diems, or what are we gonna do there?
Good question.
Well, we did discuss this. I mean, when we spoke about it before, we were talking about, because we're gonna go 24 hours, is go full-timers and have per diems fill in where necessary.
Two more?
No, it's gonna be more than 2 more. I mean, we're talking about doubling the number of people on duty and moving to more full-timers rather than per diems.
You're talking about going from 2 to 9. Because if you got 2 per shift, you got 4 shifts, there's your 8, and you can't staff
See,
it
that's
with,
what I'm-
Yeah.
and you can't staff it with just those 8, because someone's gonna be out sick, someone's gonna be vacation. So you're gonna have to add at least 2 more people to that mix in order to cover that time.
And then you keep the per diems you already have on to fill shifts.
Goodbye 480 mill rate.
Well,
I know. Or do we go in the middle and have 6?
But I don't, I mean,
so you
I'm
remember-
kinda stuck on this, why in advance you have to decide this, which is, if you can hire per diem people who are willing to fill shifts,
That we don't need full-time, correct?
then you would hire them, right? You guys are gone past the stage of, we can't hire them and say, okay, we want them full-time. I'm not so sure that the answer isn't a mix of that too. But It depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to give the town a budget number, then you probably should estimate what the downside is, you know, or a range of downsides anyway.
Well, and the other piece of it, you remember when we started, we had no full-timers except for art. It was all per diems. And then we recommended to hire full-timers to give the program stability, to have
part-timers.
regular people.
Yeah.
Part-timers.
Yeah, and then we went full-time
Yeah.
to get that. Well, we went from part-time to full-time to get the extra 4 hours so we could cover the frat.
And then we did part-time.
Stuff, so-
There's one that's part-time.
But the difference going per diem to the part-time, which went all the way up to 36 hours,
There's one part-time.
Yeah, there's one part-timer, yeah.
was, it was a stabilizing force.
I'm still stuck in the same situation, which is, what is the goal? The goal is to have first a recommendation and timing, because that matters on a budget basis, when we go to 7x24 and how, and then to have some reasonable estimate of the cost, right? That's, we're sort of where we are, right, and what we're trying to accomplish.
Let-
So,
Let's figure 2 more full-timers. Run it by Terry and Christie, let them do the math, come up with a number, and go from there. Then it'll be
I
easy to
won't get
figure
you
out what,
7x24.
How is 2 more gonna fix it?
you gotta start somewhere. What do you wanna start with, 9?
No, I'm just,
I
it,
think that's where we wind up.
you get into this combination of when you look at what's the most efficient use of personnel, and it's to have those 2 people on for 24 hours and off for 3 days and run 8 people, or are you gonna start trying to mix that with per diems that may not be able to work a 24 schedule, so you're gonna have to have 4 per diems to work that 24, 2 for 12 and 2 more for 12. So now you got 4 per diems for one 24-hour shift that you can cover with just 2 full-time. That,
The benefits.
I think it gets very complicated when you start trying to build a hybrid system of per diems
On a 24-hour
and full-time. And I just think it's more efficient, though more expensive, and I can't do the math in my head about how that all comes out. But it's oftentimes the same math that you use when you ask yourself, do I pay overtime or do I hire additional personnel? You have to find that balance. Is the overtime cost greater than hiring an employee? So you're into that same rationale of how you make that work, you know?
So when you say 9, right, with the per diems, the 9th is the fire administrator position, right? And you're filling the openings with the per diems, or are you talking about 9 working the?
Well, you still gotta have the fire administrator to supervise the municipal employees.
Yeah.
I think you could do the absences and the vacation time with per diems, I think.
Yeah,
Is that what
So
that-
that's what I'm asking is, do we need 9 full-timers plus the fire administrator and the per diems, or can it
No,
be
I
full?
think you can do the 8, and with the fire administrator working
Yeah,
a
daytime.
schedule,
Yeah.
that he has a flexibility that when somebody's off on vacation, he can shift his time to cover that in some way. And I can't tell you off the top of my head how that's all
And
gonna
the per
work.
diems can
But-
fill in open, or,
Frank, can I ask-
unfortunately, this has kind of forced me into this, which I was gonna try and avoid, but one of the things we absolutely need to do is get the fire administrator out of regular shifts.
That's correct.
Because we are short of administrative time in the current model, and we're gonna up to 7x24, it's really gonna be short. And then we're gonna add on working on a new building, and then we're really gonna be short. And almost to the point, in my opinion, you better find a way to have more of them, right? Because you guys aren't gonna be working on the details of the building, somebody else is gonna be doing it.
It may not be as bad to be on shift when you're at the central station.
Okay,
It's, because now you're in your office, now
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
got
Yeah,
everything
and
you
you
need
can
to
go on a
work.
call.
It becomes more difficult
yeah.
when I'm at Orsby Island trying to be in 2 places at once
Yeah,
and stuff.
well, I just think we need to have some sensitivity, that basically the idea that
I'm with you. I
that
agree.
job, right, is gonna have a regular meaningful part, I'm not saying not somebody's down and out or whatever, but meaningful part of the shift coverage model. So it might be-
I just wanted to ask Frank, Frank, do you have some opinions on this, the number of full-times, if you could? Could you help us with this a little bit?
I mean, I do, but I'd rather listen to you guys right now, but,
Okay,
Well, yeah, we've said enough. Open up.
no, I mean, it,
yeah.
well, I think first we gotta figure out what shifts we're gonna work too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what schedule?
That's what
Well,
dri-
like
that's what
four-
drives it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12s or 24s.
Well, and then, and how often, are you gonna work the 24, 96, 24, 48, 24, 24, you know, there's a lot of variables there on how many guys you need, so.
I think it's pretty straightforward to say 24 and then ask your current folks, would they rather work 1 on, 3 off, or do they want to do some other variation like the other department? I don't think that arrangement necessarily matters to us, other than the 24-hour shift is nice because then you have consistency, rather than doing 10s and 14s or 12s and 12s or whatever.
I don't think that I think you're right there, we need to do it, if we're gonna go, I think we do a 24 with them.
Yeah. I've seen all kinds, I mean, but the bottom line is, as long as it's 24s and they're averaging 42 hours a week, that's what matters right there, is that 42-hour average for FSLA.
Yeah, obviously, the 8 makes it, in that scenario, the 8 makes it easy to manage, you're putting your full-time guys on it and your per diems filling in, that's easy.
And the other
Can you
part
do
of
it
that
with
is.
less, depending on how many per diems you have and how reliable, you know, as you shrink the number of full-time, you expand the number of per diem.
Right.
I mean, it's,
How
Whichever
many
way
per
you wanna
diems
go.
do we have now,
But,
Frank?
but
Slide that
I
mic a
don't
little
think,
closer.
I don't think on a cost basis, right, I mean, I haven't done the math, but I don't think it makes a huge difference. It's not gonna make a huge difference which scheduling model you pick. Because in the end, you're gonna have to burn roughly the same number of hours.
Yeah, it's just a benefits difference.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's 30-35% more for the
Just
benefit.
pick a number, I mean, you know.
The benefits and the number of sets of PPE you gotta buy.
Right,
Yeah.
and, you know, that's, in the scheme of this enhancement, the PPE cost is not even gonna be in the, you know, in the visible part of the rounding.
Yeah, it's like, what's 5 to
And we can all
6,000?
hire them at the exact same size. You have to be 6'1", 220, okay? That's it. And you have to take a medium man,
The only thing we can vary is the foot size.
right? This is it. These are job requirements, 6'1", 220, medium man.
I mean, if I had to build a program, there's a couple of us, or a few of us at the table that have done this as career guys. If I had to build a program from scratch, because I didn't have one to start with, I would simply say, 1 on, 3 off. If you want vacation time, you put in for it the month before, so that gives Frank or whoever's working time to reach out to the per diems and see who can fill the shift. And move forward with that, keep it simple.
So you can do open enrollment, you put in for it in November of the year before,
Yeah, we do that in Portland in October, it sucks,
and
but
then,
anyways.
yeah, but that's because you're thinking as a union guy, not as a manager.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Oh,
And then,
I wanted, Frank, thank you, I wanted to say that.
and then you can do the ones at a time based on staffing.
It's the last time that word is used in here.
And you move to this model, you gotta be thinking about consistent supervision. Somebody has
Gonna
got to
need
be,
another
you
person.
can't be putting these people in a scenario of 24 hours and not have somebody present that's supervising these people and ensuring that they're doing what they're supposed to do, either during their response or their station duties or whatever else they're doing. You can't just willy-nilly say, well, let's just put 2 people over there and hope for the best, you know? You've got to, so you've got to be thinking, okay, well, now maybe I need a lieutenant on each shift that's gonna monitor the performance of these people and ensure that, you know, they're following the guidelines. It's bigger than just simply saying, let's add 2 people. You've got to, I mean, those of us that worked on career, I mean, you got a lieutenant and a captain on shift. You know,
Well, right now,
Yeah,
we're
but
following
you're
the,
working in a full house, so, I mean, we're talking a two-person house, so I mean, it's,
The issues are the same, Ben. Doesn't matter whether it's 2 people or 5 people. The issues are the same. You gotta have somebody there that's,
all right.
that's
I'm gonna-
responsible.
I'm gonna put on my other hat, I was just accused of, and say, great, more promotional opportunities. I didn't bring it up, but okay.
I think, as I said earlier, you need to free up administrative type time from
Yeah.
duty type time.
Yeah,
to
there's
be
no
able to
working
ma-
supervisor.
To manage this program.
Hate that.
I don't happen to agree that you need to have somebody on the off shift, on a regular basis. That doesn't mean that the administrative
So I-
part
There's a-
doesn't have to work some of that.
Occasionally.
There is another model, right? and-
I've worked my whole career, I've worked a shift. I've worked an overnight shift
Yeah.
my whole career.
Yeah.
That way
You have
they
somebody
can
over-
do
You have
training.
somebody working at you, over your head every time?
I'm sorry, say that
So
again.
that Dave's proposal is you gotta have a boss on site at the same time.
So how I ran that was, so we did have we did have a captain, but if the
Yeah.
captain was out,
Yeah.
a firefighter filled in, so it would be the
Yeah.
same. So they're monitoring themselves.
And that's what we call the senior firefighter role. So
Right.
if we don't have an officer on duty, the senior firefighter
Right.
gets paid for the fact that they're the senior officer on duty, or senior firefighter on duty, and they're responsible for the building.
But you just have, there's through SOPs or policies, that governs what they're gonna do, and then,
I mean,
Yeah.
you've made the wrong hiring decisions, given our call volume, if you need a third person watching 2 people at night, okay? You just,
It's not so much work, it's also the response. It's, when they're going out on those calls
That's a
and,
different
and
problem.
being present with them and ensuring that they're getting the job done efficiently and safely. And it's more than just,
that's a suggestion,
Yeah.
Dave, of a 3-person crew, not a 2-person crew.
But in any
and I
case,
think
so,
we're following your
well,
standard.
that's where you're going.
I am not, listen,
Yeah,
listen, I think you have to launch your way through a progression, right? So, the first part of the progression in me is you gotta free up administrative time.
Yeah.
Second part of the progression is you gotta find a way to get to 7x24/2. The third part of the progression is you gotta get to 7x24/3. Then, when you get down in the end and the rest of it is melted, you're now talking about 7x24/5 or 4,
The 4 is the number.
Yeah.
Well, depending on what additional
Yeah,
responsibilities.
no, I'm saying,
That
it gets,
That you do.
it gets fuzzier down here on where it is, but it's bigger than where you were the step before by
Absolutely.
1 or 2, right?
But we're still at a place where we're trying to augment the other 3 departments. Right. Am I right?
Yeah, right.
So,
That's why you need to
but
figure
I
out a way to
think,
do the 2.
I think we're getting to the point, though, where rather than it's the per diem supporting the departments, that it is, we're supporting each other. It's a whole system. It's not, right, once the station's built and we go to 24/7, I don't think that it's a paid staff supporting the volunteers, or it's and or both. It's this idea that
Yeah,
it's gonna continue to be wholly reliant on the volunteers when we have 24-hour staff for a reason is, I don't know, maybe I'm just talking on my ear.
You're talking out of your ear.
Yeah, because
No,
this
you-
model,
You-
the model
there's no-
doesn't work
there's
with
no-
the volunteers.
There's no,
I'm not-
there's no
I'm not saying
model
that. I'm
of
saying-
2 people in the central station that gets you anything remotely like.
And we're
So let me
following
back
your
up.
SOPs, and you
I
guys are
clearly-
the on-scene commander, you guys are,
Yeah, I clearly misstated, because you're hearing me differently than I intended. My point wasn't that the paid staff are gonna operate in isolation and somehow the volunteers are supporting the paid staff. My point was that it's a complete, I had a word for it 2 weeks ago when I was thinking about this. It's not that the paid staff are supporting the volunteers, it's not that the volunteers are supporting the paid staff. It's a system. It is a combination system. It's both. We need
It's a
both.
hybrid. What's the word we use? Hybrid.
yeah, hybrid, yeah.
Hybrid does describe a portion of what I'm trying to say. The second, yes, yeah. The second I leave, I'll think of the word and I'll text everybody. This is the word I was thinking of. But anyways,
But I think in terms of the town, the way I mean, I'm not,
Cooperative.
okay.
Rather than supportive, it's cooperative.
I like hybrid better.
Well, hybrid simply describes the fact that there's two different type of staffing models, a volunteer and then there's a paid staffing model. That's what hybrid or combination means. I was just trying to describe the fact that one is not, the paid staff and or the volunteers are not subservient to the other. It's a system. That's all I'm saying.
But it is both.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. Spent way too much time trying to
So
find
do
a
we
word.
have a recommendation for
No, but
budgeting purposes
I'm-
yet?
Okay. I think what we need to produce is something that's a timeline, not just like a blob recommendation, a timeline
Yeah.
of the evolution over time, that you could put the fiscal year in the first part of the sentence, and then the change you gotta make, and the estimated cost, and, you know, a little bit of that to make it like that, but a timeline that says, listen, to get started, we're gonna change the system. There's no ifs, and, ors, or buts about that. We're gonna change the system. So, step one, and I say fiscal year 26, you better free up more Frank. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
We're just being frank about it.
Yeah,
that's being frank.
yeah, there you go, right? Fiscal 27, we're going to 7 by 24, right? In order to do that, we need to do A, B, C, and D. And I'm like, you gotta study this a little bit, because I'm not 100% sure you make it all work out OBI, but, okay, we're gonna go to it, it's gonna have this kind of tail on the dragon. You know, in fiscal, I think you just put this in fiscal 27 or 28, whatever you wanna pop it, right? The new building comes online, then you better plop that number in, because the operational costs of that are coming,
Yeah.
right? And then fiscal 28, 29, argue a little bit about it more, you know, the staffing is no longer 2 by 7 by 24, it's 3 by 7 by 24, or, you know, we can
So
kind of debate.
I
and
think
then-
some of that we can put dates on, but I think going beyond two, I think we can say, we see we're going to have to go there, but to give a specific time frame when we think we're gonna add the third and fourth position, I think it's.
I
So
find,
would
I just say TBD, I don't care, but you know, way down on the bottom is something that says that basically, you know, pick your number, right? Because Dave says it depends a little bit on what you think they're gonna do. But somewhere on the end of the bottom line, right, it sits as 7 by 24 by, I'll say 5, but you could say 4, you could say something else. But I mean.
Well, do we need some, you know, markers or something that says this is occurring, therefore we need to take the next step, you know, on our timeline or progression? And I don't know what those are, but, you know.
Well, I mean, we all dance around this issue. When
Yeah.
it melts, you're in the next box,
Right.
right?
Let's be proactive.
Well, I mean, you know, you
Problem
need to have
might
a
be the-
plan.
I don't believe the problem are the demographics. I think the problem is people being ready to make change. Right? When people don't show up for structure fire calls, right? How much more warning do we need that we need additional help?
Don't need any.
So.
But I.
How do we go from saying, all right, we know we don't have enough, all right, what's the triggers for the rest of this? How can you get any more of a problem in our small system that we currently have to say that we need to go from 2 to 3 to 4? When we've already identified that we're not, I mean, the last fire you had, when you struck the all hands, you got an engine company from Brunswick. So you got 3 people on an engine company plus the chief. You got 4 people, right? And
But
that
I don't
helps
wanna use that
stabilize
one
the
fire as the benchmark, because I was just told, as I said before, the situation, the way the situation evolved, there were more people available who didn't get the sign, I guess I'll say it the right way, or enough
That they needed to come.
hints that they needed to come.
Notification.
Notification,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not bending my whole policy, you know, on one, single event. But second,
How long did it take an engine to get out to the structure fire in Cunny's Harbor?
Which fire are we talking about?
The garage fire? I don't know, didn't you say you were there 20 minutes, 25 minutes where somebody could drive the engine to you?
Oh, the one up to,
That's a pretty good benchmark.
But we had more than enough staff, though.
Yeah, engine five, I think, was almost 20 minutes getting there.
Well, I had to drive from my house.
No, I'm not,
Well,
I'm
yeah, I mean,
I'm not
it's,
trying to
but no, it's a great
take shots,
example.
I'm just saying.
And we're definitely running into that down in the harbor where it makes no sense for me to go pick up apparatus. Makes
right.
no sense.
But in that case, you had to.
But I had to, and I've had to,
And that was just to
Several
get the first
times.
truck out the door.
I brought what did I bring? I brought a tank truck over to you for that smokehouse road fire. Again, I mean, those are great examples that, you know, I mean, that's.
But
that's a
the
department-
central station doesn't fix that.
That's right,
No.
that's right.
Well, it does in that,
Well, it does,
if
but
Central
you'll have the
Station was
engines right
open, engine 9 would have been there in 5 minutes.
But
And
what
then
about-
so,
Not engine 5 in
about
20 minutes.
at minute 7.3, or 2.3 minutes after engine, whatever 9 got there, they were be out of water.
It's a
You know,
people problem.
The rest of
You don't
the
have enough
rest of
people
the
to
system
show
has to
up.
run.
I think engine 9 pulled in
That's what
right
it
behind
is.
me, if I remember correctly.
Well, I'm just saying, just because the 2 guys come, doesn't get you a structure fire,
Right.
response.
No, but the difference, I mean, a lot of
No,
things went,
correct.
went right. One thing went right on
Right,
that fire.
you saw the fire.
I was driving by.
Yeah,
And
there you
got
go.
there and killed the power and shut the building up so that the fire
Right,
couldn't get
right.
roaring, right?
Right.
That bought us time. That is not the rule, that is the exception.
Right.
If I hadn't have been going by to go to work, that would have been through the roof by the time engine 5
Right.
got there. It absolutely would have been through the roof, so
Right.
having, even if it's 1 or 2 people on scene that can make that initial defensive action to close the building up or get a single line on, because it's just a contents fire, or whatever else needs to do, is the difference between being able to handle it with an engine company or having to have a tanker shuttle set up.
I'm just saying that the trigger point, which is what I think Aaron was
Yeah.
trying to say,
Yeah.
right, is a gray line. And you're trying to say, we've already crossed over the line.
We have on several,
And-
at several fires we
I
have.
And
think
I'm
we have-
saying, okay, I don't have a lot of confidence myself that we have exhausted the ways to deal with it when you have a really big roster and you get 1 guy. It's just my opinion.
I don't disagree with you, Jonathan. I mean, but we had the same scenario
Couple other
at 1501 Hobson Neck Road when I had the fire on the 2nd floor, and you came, Ben, you were the only one that came. Till later on, I think I got 1 more, but I mean, so that, but
It's happened on a bunch of fires. and it's unfortunate.
but I'm starting to experience the same thing on rescue calls
Yeah,
as of right now.
I've heard.
And which I need to talk about how we're gonna deal with that. So it doesn't matter what the emergency is if the people are unwilling to participate, it doesn't matter. So if they're not coming, I agree with you, but somebody's gotta come. We gotta find a way for somebody to come.
And the only way we can overcome low numbers is to get the few low numbers we have there quicker. That's the only thing that, time is the only thing that beats numbers, is time. So, anyways, we got another meeting's gonna start here in 5 minutes, but I don't know. So,
But
I mean,
I
clearly
think,
we got
Dave,
some more
sorry.
thinking to do on this.
I'm sharing my opinion and only my opinion. I have been of the opinion that we can keep the ambulance system running longer than we can keep the fire system running. You're suggesting, right, that that's not likely to be the actual truth, in which case we need to rethink by a lot
Yeah.
some of the stuff that we're discussing.
That comes back around to the conversation about, do we hire EMTs?
Yeah,
Well, and that was the point I was gonna bring up. I clearly have been made aware as of a meeting yesterday that I'm gonna have holes in my daytime coverage coming up for EMS. So I'm gonna be relying on the paramedic to get in the back of the ambulance, because I will not have an EMT available.
Which is gonna be a problem for us once our permits get dropped down to advanced,
yes.
because we're not.
But
gonna be
you're still
permitted
gonna
to
go on the
operate
call, so
permit.
there-
We're gonna make
still
it
gonna
happen.
make the call.
And we'll deal with that afterwards.
Yeah.
But,
We're gonna cross that bridge when we have to cross
yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna get caught up in
Article 3 bet.
semantics.
Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
yours is at
All
three,
right.
but I gotta leave.
Never
at-
mind. I don't wanna
I gotta
cut you
leave
short.
at 12. I gotta really get
Yeah.
to 2:30.
The buildings guys are here at 3, right?
So we should,
Yeah.
it sounds like, Dave, we should, the people that we're gonna hire, we should recruit for firefighters and EMTs, correct?
But
They-
that
you're-
24/7 firefighters is not gonna help
That's
you a
correct.
bit.
That's
That's
correct.
not gonna fix my EMS
Yeah,
problem,
That's right.
you know?
Agreed.
That's, so, to Jonathan's point, we're always trying to balance two things here. You know, one time, 1 minute, everything's working, you got personnel, it's working, and then next thing you get told, well, one of my EMTs is going out because of knee replacement, he'll be gone for 6 months.
Oh, God, please don't say that.
Yeah, and there's nobody to replace them, so there's gonna be daytime holes.
Yeah.
And what if, I mean, you have to think about all these what ifs. You know, and what if the paramedic is on your call or Connie's Harbor's call? So,
But,
now I got no EMT,
yeah,
and unless I got another ambulance in town that's freed up,
Well, that's likely to be true.
you know. But
I mean, the
it's,
mutual aid system works pretty well.
So-
It's not timely, but it works.
so look, I mean,
but we're having the same problems with staffing.
yeah.
It's not
everywhere.
staffing, it's just staffing.
So it doesn't, you know, I'm
That's
trying
why-
to
that's why
recruit
in my
from a
mind-
hole,
Yeah.
you know?
That's why in my mind, right, so you just raised all of these, right, issues we've gotta figure out. That's why in my mind, it keeps coming back to, any new employees we should hire should have at least their EMT license. If for no other reason, then,
Yes,
there's an ambulance call down here, you don't have somebody, and the paramedics in the back of Rescue 3 going to Main Med already. You know what, these guys in Engine 9 can first respond while they're waiting for Rescue 5 to get over there and their EMS providers.
That's
Okay, but
my
a completely
expectation.
different hiring model than we have now.
So you
Not only
guys-
do you have to have the qualifications,
So I
you
think
gotta tell them you're gonna use it and
If
pay them.
if this is gonna be the case, though, I need to slow my roll a little bit. I would appreciate if you guys, maybe, and Christie and I need some clear expectations, because all I've been hearing from even
Yeah.
per diem staff is if we respond
2
to
weeks
an
ago,
EMS
2 weeks
call,
ago, we just
we
discussed
get
this.
slapped and we've been yelled at and we've been
Yeah, yeah.
reprimanded for going on EMS calls. So the direction has been, we do not go on EMS unless we are
For
specifically.
the record,
I mean,
not
yesterday we
from
got
that side of
Cliff,
town.
Cliff Trail, I'm standing there going, I'm not sure if I should walk out there or not, because I don't want to be yelled at either. So I'm,
You're always welcome to go on the Cliff Trail, just for the record.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome
I
on the
did,
Cliff Trail.
because I keep
Because
saying.
we tone out everybody.
We do,
right? So
we literally.
Cliff Trail, everyone gets called, so anyone can go.
They messed up on that, they toned it out as a standard medical instead of a wilderness call. If they toned it out as a wilderness call, then you guys are automatic on wilderness calls, so the fire department is assigned to it.
But to your point, Frank, you know, the situation I'm now facing is dynamic. Yesterday, I could say, that's the policy, I've stood behind it from day one, concerned about people being upset that they were being replaced. So I've been, but all
Now
of a
you don't know
sudden-
if you have people.
But that
they're
was
not
when I
there, you
had,
can't worry
that's
about
when I
it.
had
Replaced.
people.
No.
Now, when my people are gone,
Yeah,
I've got to say, okay, I have to get EMS resources to the people who call 911. And if I've got 2 people in my station or I've got 1 person in my station that's EMS licensed, I want that engine to at least arrive at the residence to initiate that contact. I'm not asking them to get in the back of the ambulance and go to town on the rescue, because now I've just shortened up my fire coverage. It's a rob Peter to pay Paul all the time.
it is, but
There's more
that's,
calls
that's the
than
fire
people.
service, so you
Yeah.
take the call you've got, not the one you might have.
Right.
Well,
That's true, but you still, you know,
But
to
Dave,
Frank's point, they're saying, you know, well, we didn't sign on to EMS, a lot of people, so you've got to
But that's
try
what
to
we,
find a
that's what we
balance
set the
here.
expectations with the new employees, though. They come in,
Listen. Dave,
condition of
you're
employment,
suggesting
you have
more
your
than that.
EMT license.
You're suggesting we change the policy. That's what you're suggesting.
That's what it
And
sounds like.
That's, and
Yes.
I'm okay discussing that. We should discuss changing the policy. But we shouldn't leave it in the middle, where you've decided Frank can go, Frank doesn't know if he's supposed to go, Christie, Dick, Kevin, blah, blah, blah. We should say, we're either gonna change the policy or not. If we change the policy, in my opinion, the people who have EMT licenses should immediately get a bump in pay. That's a Kevin issue, they should immediately, because we told them, we're not paying you for your EMS license, even if you have it.
But we
If you're
are,
gonna make
we
it-
are paying them for an EMS
I know, but
license.
we're not telling them to go on calls. There's a big difference in my mind. We're not telling them to go on calls.
We are paying.
Okay, and I'm willing to say that's
We're
just
paying
a
them a
debate
dollar-
item, giving you my
dollar
opinion. Just a
an hour.
debate item, giving my opinion.
We're paying
right?
them,
And-
$1.50 now to be an
But we're not
EMT.
telling them they go on,
That
have to
was
go on
my
calls.
point earlier, is if we're gonna be paying them
Yeah.
for this, well, why don't we make use of that service, that knowledge?
Well, we haven't, but it's a change to where we are. You gotta tell the people, we're changing what we're doing.
Yeah, we can't do it right now, but
Right.
we should start to lay it out, obviously.
No, Dave's suggesting we're doing it right now. I didn't misread
Well,
that.
right now, for me, it's,
So we're
It's
not
gonna
really
be the end
changing
of-
the policy
Yeah.
by much, because
It's
right
gonna
now,
be the
if
middle of
nobody
August.
goes,
I'm
on
gonna
the
be in
second
this
tone, that's when
scenario.
we've been kinda, on the second tone, if nobody's been going,
Yeah, so
we're getting ready to go.
it was deltas,
You are.
echoes, and second tones. were-
there's gonna be nobody on the first tone.
Yeah, no, but I've been there, and we're not gonna not go, if nobody's going at all, we're not gonna just sit there, that's ridiculous.
No, but I mean, we already
So,
have-
but
we
we've
already
heard the
have-
tone go off, and we're gonna sit there, and we'll wait for somebody to go, we're not gonna step on the toes. But if the second tone goes off with nobody responding, then we're going.
But what I'm planning to do is, I'm being made aware of these holes, and they're daytime holes. They're not predominantly, I have nighttime coverage because a lot of my EMTs work. So they're working during the day, so they're covering at night. So my holes are gonna occur during the day. What I've asked my EMS group to do is try to align those holes with the days that I have coverage at my station. And particularly licensed EMS coverage. Because I am, in all practicality, this is probably gonna happen in the middle to late August, when this person leaves and creates this hole. That my expectation there, and to Jonathan's point, I would request a policy change to say that on those days, and I'm gonna make them predictable. I don't want those people sitting in the station going, do I go or I don't go? I'm gonna tell you, on these days, I have no EMT coverage. If there is a request for an ambulance in my district on these days, I expect the engine to respond simply to make contact with the patient.
And Dave, I don't have any objection to all that. What I think as a practical matter is, I don't care if we wanna schedule next meetings to discuss it, or we wanna wait that long, because that's already in August or whatever, but we sit down and say, look, here's the new policy, we outline it in a way that I understand it, Frank understands it, you know,
Yep.
But we're still not transporting, somebody else is gonna be transporting.
there's no.
But-
So I don't think it's a money
But,
thing.
but frankly, though, if you don't have an EMS provider in the back and you've got a critical call, the paramedic can't handle by themselves, I have no problem with the paid staff jumping in the back of Rescue 7 and transporting. I really don't, because we deal with the call that we have, not the one
And
that
that, and
might.
that may be some parameters that we set up that says if it's an echo call, then they do get in the back. But if it's a BLS level call, I don't need my engine staff riding in the back of the ambulance to Brunswick to hold somebody's hand. I
But
don't
Dave,
need
you're
that.
outlining what the policy is, and I'm saying we should just have a meeting and everybody agree on the damn policy,
I'm with you.
right?
I just wanted to bring it to the committee today.
Absolutely
To
okay.
make everybody aware, this is, I only was made aware of it yesterday. So I'm saying this
Looks
is.
like we're right on top of this issue.
Well,
This is-
and I'll have to, you'll have to let me know when this, obviously when we sit down and talk about it, because now scheduling on my end, I gotta make sure we have at least an EMT over there.
Right.
On those days.
So now, you're coming from almost a position of envy in that you have a schedule to start with. Neither one of these departments have schedules, and we're relying on the generosity of people happening to be around when somebody dials 911, and it doesn't always
But
happen.
that's the system we have.
I know, I'm just saying that he's coming from a known quantity to,
Well, I'm trying to manipulate what I
Right.
have to.
whereas we've never had a
make
known
it work.
quantity.
Okay, well, I'm gonna manipulate it, so we get all these texts line up in our text group about who's not around, chief, and we have nobody in town, we're gonna tell them they gotta sit in Cundy's Harbor Station for the day.
It won't fit in the station. That truck
They can
won't
leave
fit
the
in the
truck
station.
outside, I'm okay with that. We got.
Anyways,
a few
things are
hard-
gonna be a lot simpler when
We don't
they're
have a
running out
TV
of the
or
Mountain
anything. We
Road
don't even
station,
have a,
because it's gonna be a lot easier to say,
refrigerator, but
on these
I'm
calls,
sure
you're gonna
you
go
can do it
direct on the
for a
engine, and
day.
as soon as,
got plenty of
they
work to
clear, you're gonna go back to the station, and it's all done, and you're centrally located, and everybody's happy, right? So,
But we don't
Well,
have the,
anyway, I
lux-
think
we
that-
may not have the luxury of waiting for that
no,
additional
I
18
agree.
months.
Just like that's why I put down here about, number 4 is, because of our nighttime coverage issue on the fire side, are we really gonna wait till the new station is opened to try to get some staff on at night? Because that's 18 months from now, and we have a problem right now.
So as long as you continue to provide my people on my side of town for daytime coverage for 3 days,
I don't have a problem with that.
you know.
That's hard.
Well, you can
live with
always
that.
you can get those portable sleeping things too, facilities. You can park one right out.
Friday, Saturday, or Sunday,
Buy
they're
it-
sleeping
buy
in the
a
back
tent,
room?
No, a
No, it's
trailer.
they're just, they're like
You guys got
office
money, buy a
trailers you
trailer.
put back there with sleeping
We're
quarters.
gonna have to, yeah.
I've provided them in all kinds of different, when I've had
We
fire
need a luxury
department,
trailer, though. What are you talking
fire
about
department
this?
renovations, when we're building
All right,
renovations.
we're off the deep end here. The bottom line is there is already a station that has overnight accommodations, so we don't have to wait 8 months, as long as we can come to some agreement that 18 months is a long time when we're having a problem now.
Okay, so I'm proposing, right, because we don't have 2 members present, I'm proposing that we tee up, I don't care if we want to try and do it a week early, I know people's schedules are 2 weeks, next meeting, because well into August, right? But we got to tee up this basic change, policy change about the per diems, and the paid staff
On medical calls.
on medical calls, or to review whether we're going to change what we said we were going to do, what we have said continuously that we're doing. That would be
Okay.
my first proposal.
And then we still need sometime in
No,
August, we
right,
need to have this
That's
done.
just interrupting that, to come back to the issue right after that, of how do we get to 7x24, in an interim period?
And I think I heard you were saying that you think that the administrative time needs to be done the end of this year.
Right-
Or
right now,
sooner.
Right now,
Okay.
right now.
I don't have a
mean, that's
problem.
that's a town, I'm laying that on the town. You need to get Frank to have more time, because we don't have enough Frank. Does Frank agree with me?
I don't know if Frank has enough time.
He's the Energizer bunny
You
anyway,
can't,
so he can
we
figure it
can't have
out.
him out there in the cliff trail searching for people while we gotta work on, policy stuff.
I agree.
I'm not sure that's his.
That was meant as a joke.
Oh, yeah, because that policy isn't his responsibility. We can draft our own policy.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm here to help with that.
yeah,
though.
you could actually draft a policy, then give it to these guys, they'll tear it apart, we'll figure it out from there. Would you mind drafting that up?
The policy, which one am I drafting?
We were talking about
Responding to
changing the
medicals?
policy on the per diem
On the
response.
I'll work with you when
Per
I
diem
need.
and full-time response on medical calls, that's what we're talking about.
It was a big deal at the time that we did it that way.
So,
People were getting upset.
David, you and I should get together and have a conversation so you're hoping that you're gonna have known shifts where you need them to do it, but I have unknown shifts, right? And right now, we're doing it second tone, but I think it might be more useful. You're gonna have your known shifts, that's great, they're just gonna go, no problem. But in my mind, if the per diems hear a call that sounds like it's a call, a serious call, even if they're not asked for, I just assume they get in the truck and just start moving that way. Maybe they're not going code 3, but they're just getting on the road and they're heading that way, and they can just let Rescue 7, 5, 3, whatever know, we're gonna start that way, if you don't need us, let us know, and we'll go back to what we're
Okay, but
doing.
you're not debating the policy at a meeting that we said we weren't gonna debate the policy.
I would just ask that, whatever we write, whatever we decide, you guys tell me, but it just needs to be clear to
Yeah.
to your people too, so that they're not.
Right, but I think we could say,
Coming at
I
the
think we
people.
can say in general, and I mean this on all calls, right? No one objects to anyone, and I do this all the time, starting for a call before the system has said you're supposed to go, right?
And it's also.
I wouldn't go that far.
I would say our responders.
Who's gonna beat you up
Are
about it?
going to be happy to hear that more hands are on the way, even if we turn them around.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see some hands on the way.
I mean, the bottom line is, things have changed on this side of town, and so we're revisiting the issue, and we'll deal with it at the next meeting.
How are the per diems gonna take this?
What's that?
That we're changing policy, that they can go on EMS calls now.
I think it depends on the per diem.
What do you think, Sean?
I'm way happier doing medical than fire. No, I've been advocating for a while that we should be rolling an engine, not just with Delta Echo level calls or second tones, but there are oftentimes, where we've got people on the second floor, and to have the engine there to help, package and move patients is going to.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
From nobody that's in the fire service likes to sit there
Well, it's something
like
going on.
an
it's
emergent
they gotta
situation's
help.
happening,
Especially
and
when
they
we don't
want,
have
and
any
they know
calls
that they can be there to help.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, and that's, so that's a good example. That's the trick. We had somebody down over off of Oakhurst Island Road a few months back on the third floor. They were, we had to get them out of the third floor bathroom cubbyhole. And, it's one of these deals, you gotta wrap them up in the burrito wrap, and you're handing them up this to get them down around the stairs and all that. By the time you get there and identify you're gonna need the extra help, and they're coming from either Oars Island or Harpswell Neck, it's gonna take them 15 minutes to get there. Do you have time to wait 15 minutes to get the extra bodies? You need to help carry the person out of the building, so.
I think that's district by district, Ben, that's.
I mean, we know-
I
we
know how,
know.
I know how my EMS system works, and I know what the appetite they have for some of this. So I don't think you can make a blanket statement that they're gonna roll to all these EMS calls. I don't want that in my district.
But if somebody, meets the bariatric threshold, or if we know that they're on the third floor, or if they're over a bank, or something like that,
Yeah, no.
Provider discretion.
I don't think anyone's suggesting it's a every time, Dave, it was.
Well, I was getting that.
Call.
No, I'm not
specific.
suggesting if this is for a lift assist or something, there's no reason for that truck to roll, right? They're inside in a warm environment and they need a lift assist, there's no reason to send the engine company unless nobody responds, but, there's,
Like that house on Cundy's Harbor with the spiral staircase, in advance, you better be calling for help.
okay. Well,
Trapped in the
we
elevator.
can work on it some more if you have something that's specific to your side of town, which has been kind of the guiding on the last few years on this, we'll.
Yeah.
I just ask that, let's not, what I wouldn't want us to do is have us sitting on the apparatus bay going, is this, making judgment calls. I'd like for us to be able to say, yeah, this is one, or no, this is one.
Yeah.
Yes, we go, no, we don't, versus.
I'm not sure it's that black and white either, Frank,
Yeah.
It's,
Because.
And I
you know what's
understand what
gonna
you're both
happen,
saying.
We're
I
gonna
I
go
like
with
clear-
we're
yeah.
gonna go with, maybe, we're gonna go, and then as long as you guys understand that's what's gonna happen.
And I like clear guidance too, that's how we came out with the whole Echo, Delta, second tone and all that stuff, but the reality is, I trust most of your folks have experience to be able to hear the radio when they hear something come across and it sounds like it's an ordinary call, and then they hear something in the back and it's not quite categorized right in the back of their mind and saying, that doesn't sound ordinary, they're gonna need some help, and using some discretion. And just get on the truck and just start, maybe no lights, but just, hey, Rescue 5, just so you're aware, we're on the road, we're coming that way, let us know if you need us or not, It doesn't hurt to
I don't-
exercise the
I don't
truck.
disagree.
anyway.
And luckily, we're close enough where maybe every few weeks, or, well, as it happens, whatever, we get together often enough that we
Yeah.
can talk and.
And it depends what district the call's in and where you guys are located and all that stuff, I get that, If it's a call on Oars Island and you're at Oars Island, maybe you don't have to roll right out the door. That's why I think there needs to be, I think you're right, I think there needs to be some provider discretion as to, this sounds like, person's outside on the frozen ground and it's 10 below zero, we're gonna wait an extra 10 minutes for the volunteers to turn out or not.
Right.
Let's get it done, so.
But I think you have to start this by saying, it's perfectly reasonable for us to depend on the judgment of the people in the station to decide whether they want to roll. And we're not gonna beat them up about it.
That's, the
if
last
they
part of
don't.
that's key.
We're not gonna beat them up about it, because we put 3 more miles on engine 3 or 9, or
Oh,
whatever,
no.
It's just not gonna, it just can't be that way.
no, it's not about that, it's the biggest issue for me is trying to find that balance
Yeah, you
between
don't wanna take your staffing off, do they? I get it.
the EMS people, making sure they don't feel that they're being replaced, or, well, I'm not gonna go. Well, they already got two on the truck, I'll just stay. I don't want to get into that mentality of where they start saying, well, oh, they're gonna go on every call, then I just won't go. I'll stay home. You know, you gotta be careful
No, I fully get
how you
I
do
fully
some of
get that,
this.
David.
Or
Which
I
is why I
committed
think
to
it has
being
to
on
be.
call for 12 hours, and why, they're just jumping my call.
So I think probably the two of us and Frank can get together and just have, and then we'll report back to the committee and say, this is what we're.
You just gotta be careful call jumping, because those of us that have been in the business, we've all been sensitive to call jumping. When it was my call, my district, and next thing I know, you know.
Dave, you
Somebody-
don't understand, we don't wanna come over there.
No, you don't say, I don't want you.
I know, but I'm just saying, we're not competing for this
All right,
call.
so let's come back to that, to the next meeting, back to the
Yeah.
committee on that, and then hopefully you all have a copy of this now, give some thoughts to it, mark it up, whatever you think you need to do, if you need something needs to get striked or added to it, it'll be good to have something to give the town so that Frank and Terry and them can build a budget around that for the selectmen to consider. Because that's coming up in about a month, right?
Yep,
Budget.
September, end of September.
Budget, we're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
End of
October,
September.
right?
Usually end of September, we get fired up.
Yeah, you're not gonna, you gotta set the new rate before then, so there'll be,
August 18th,
huh?
August 18th.
Be a lot of controversy about that time.
But shit's already hit the fan, don't worry about it.
Ben, is there a chance you could send me a copy of this, a clean one?
Yeah, if you don't see it from me by the middle of the day tomorrow, just text me and so I'll remember.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done, thank you,
Yeah,
folks.
we're done.
Terry,
We're done for the next 10 minutes.
we're done.
You felt a disturbance in the forest, didn't you?
We were done a while ago.
Yeah, we were.